and then the other one is the writings of Madame Blavatsky. So today we are considering one of the letters which has been addressed to Mr. Sinnett, and we'll consider the letter number 25. This letter was received by Mr. Sinnett on February 2nd, 1883. Letter is in the handwriting of Master Kuthumi. It was written in blue ink on bluish gray paper. The above information is taken from the Reader's Guide to the Mahatma Letters, written by Linton and Virginia Hanson. And the book also says white paper also was used towards the end of the letter, and there is a tree printed as a backdrop on the white paper. And the handwriting, the book says, is large and flowing. All this basic information we have so that we can even visualize the letter as it is there perhaps in the museum, London Museum. Before going into the letter number 25, we were told that the subject of Dev Chan, some people even use it as Dev Khan, but it is Dev Chan as some Buddhists pronounce it. References there in letter number 16 and 20C, letter number 20C. I'm not going to the great details of letter 16 or letter 20C. Since the subject of Dev Chan was introduced there, it is better that we just touch upon those two letters briefly before someone else is given the task of going through those letters in detail, because letter number 16 is as big as letter number 25. So briefly, letter number 16 talks about Dev Chan, where the ego, which we know in the philosophical parlance, Atma Buddhi and Haya Manas, enjoys a continuous existence for a long time before getting reincarnated again. In Dev Chan, the ego retains complete recollection of his life on earth. In Dev Chan, the ego retains complete recollection of his life on earth. Lord Buddha used a term, Sukhavati. Vati is a place, Sukha, Sukhavati, and that is a region of bliss. There are no griefs or sorrows there. There are no griefs or sorrows there. Lot of souls or spirits, if you may like to call them, stay there for rest and come back to earth if their journey is still not complete, because we're talking about an obligatory journey which will be complete only over a period of lives. So when the journey is not still complete, they'll come back to earth after taking rest in Dev Chan. So Dev Chan, to understand simply, has resemblance to heaven as mentioned by the Christian churches and other religions. There is absence of man-made, godly, like living creatures there. So we normally have in our Hindu philosophy devatas. So we have a feeling that they wear a crown and they wear silk clothes and sit there and things like that. It's all our imagination or anthropomorphization of ours. So the letter says there are no man-made, godly looking like beings there. The personal ego goes to Dev Chan, but the ego which goes there is purified, holy. See, it has spent its time in various planes before it has reached the Dev Chan. So the ego is purified, holy when it reaches that stage. Buddhi, the sixth principle, Atma, the seventh principle, combined together, stay in Dev Chan along with the higher manas. The karma which a person has done or the good deeds he has done, good words he has spoken, good thoughts he has had in his life, they decide the stay in Devchan, says the letter. The bad karma is set aside and gets attached to his future reincarnation when the time comes for that particular person to come back to earth reincarnating. So law of retribution or law of karma never errs, never makes a mistake, says the master. The self reaps rewards in Devchan for the unselfish life led on earth. The self reaps rewards in Devchan for the unselfish life led on earth. In letter number 16, there is a word Bardo, B-A-R-D-O, which HPB has used, Madam HPB has used, but did not explain, says the master. Bardo is the period between death and rebirth. It may be few years, says the master, or it could be, the time gap could be sometimes equivalent to a kalpa, which is a huge period, we know. Devchan is not solely the abode of adepts. Devchan is not solely the abode of adepts. We may think like that, but it's not the only place where they stay. Devas are of two classes. Devas are of two classes, Rupa Devas and Arupa Devas, says the letter, the formless. So Rupa Devas are also called Jhani Chohans, having forms. So these Jhani Chohans, having no forms, are also there. They also help in the evolution of the universe and all the living beings. The letter introduces the concept, another term called Avici, equivalent to, for easy understanding again, the hell which is talked about in the Christian literature. Right. It talks about dreadfully monotonous. This is the question raised in two letters, not only in 20C, it is also appearing in 25. The answer given by master, it is not in the least monotonous. It is not in the least monotonous. In that state of eternity, millions of years will pass off like a second. The second refers to perhaps the Earth's second. In that state of eternity, millions of years will pass off like a second. It is the moment of highest bliss. These are all the extracts from 16 and 20C for a bit of understanding of the concept, which was later on discussed very widely or very lucidly in letter number 25. We're not going to consider the whole of the letter 25 because it's a lengthy letter, as I've said. And at the time of the letter that was received by Mr. Sinnett, the founders, HPB and HSO, were at Adyar, and AP Sinnett was at Allahabad. These are all the circumstances under which the letter was received, is the heading which has a mention in the reader's guide to the master's letter. The letter had a heading which was reading like this: answers to the queries. So a lot of queries were raised by Mr. Sinnett, obviously, and they were answered by Mr. Master KH. AP Sinnett says the letter was actually the additional notes. Where were the preliminary notes? They were found in 16 and 20C. So these are the additional notes on Devchan, says Mr. AP Sinnett. The earlier letters to 25, as we have mentioned, also talked about Devchan. In the letter number 25, to a query raised by Mr. Sinnett once again, whether Devchan is not a condition supposed to be a monotonous one. Master clarifies once again that life in Devchan will not be monotonous. If it was to be monotonous, if it was to be monotonous, as assumed by Mr. Sinnett, then the law of cause and effect will get defeated. So this is what Master says. Master says once again that life in Devchan will not be monotonous, as assumed by Mr. Sinnett. And Master says if it is so, if it is monotonous, then it will defeat the law of cause and effects. So that cannot err is something which he has said already. So the life and the results in Devchan will be in proportion to the energy spent or efforts put in while living on earth. The life and the results in Devchan will be in proportion to the energy spent or the efforts put in while living on earth. This is what the letter says. So the law of cause and effect will operate in Devchan too, as it operates on earth. Master says further that there are two kinds of energies and their related manifestations. The grosser energies operate on the physical plane, and manifestation is at the physical or objective level, and the moral, spiritual, or finer energies are present in Devchan, along with the effects which can be felt in Devchan. The grosser energies operate on the physical plane, and manifestation takes place on the physical objective plane. The moral, spiritual, and finer energies are present in Devchan, along with the effects which can be felt in Devchan. So this is regarding the energies which Master talks about. Master says the vices and the physical attractions of, say, a philosopher, for example, the vices and the physical attractions of a philosopher, for example, may form the part of the being when the philosopher is born again in the course of reincarnation. The philosopher is reborn with the same pre-existing tendencies that were present in the previous birth or in the previous incarnation. A poet, similarly, may be born again while reincarnating as an extraordinarily intellectual person with intellectual capacities of high order. In addition to his moral and spiritual qualities, that will be part of his reincarnation, all the good energies, all the aspirations, all the thoughts, all the words of the poet will expand themselves, and he goes through the extended period of blissful existence in Devchan. So this is what the letter is conveying. All the good energies, aspirations, thoughts, and words of the poet will expand themselves, and as he goes through an extended period of blissful existence in Devchan. So all aspirations of spiritual, moral, intellectual, belonging to the abstract, or appearing as metaphysical nature will come to fruition, and the effects and results will be actual at Devchan. So things which are abstract or which are metaphysical, which we cannot possibly see the result of it while living on earth, will bear fruit while living or existing in Devchan. This is what the understanding is. It is the ego, the Atma Buddhi Manas, that will lead the Devchanic existence. He is called, the person who lives there is called Devchani, Devchani, a person living in Devchan. It will be a conscious existence, or it can also be called a dreamlike existence, coupled with clarity and vividness. This living or existence in Devchan will be better than and more clearer than the life realities of that person while he was leading the life on earth. The living or existence in Devchan will be better than and more clearer than the life realities of that person while he was living a life on earth. So the dreams we get, for example, while living on earth, we cannot put everything in words. The dreams which we get in our sleep while living on earth, we cannot put everything in words. Similarly, the life of Devchan, which will be like a dream, cannot be put in words. Why dream? It is too good to be true. It is dream come true, some people say, isn't it? So the dream while living on earth, we cannot put everything in words. When we sleep, we get dream, we can't put everything in words, which will be like a lot of things unsaid. Similarly, the life of Devchan, which will be like a dream, cannot be put in words. So the good deeds or good karma, which one has earned or which one has done while living on earth, will determine that person's stay in Devchan is a statement given here. The ability of one to function in higher realms or spheres depends on the person's inner development, says the master. The ability of one to function in higher realms or spheres depends on that person's inner development, says the master. The person with no inner development will lead an unconscious existence in Devchan. I think we'll have a reference of this in the Key to Theosophy, where Madame Blavatsky also mentions about an existence where he is not conscious that he is living in Devchan. Moments and deeds of good earthly living, while earthly living, and sensations and aspirations, hopes, desires, dreams, which are part of one's earthly life, gets expanded to their fullness in Devchanic life. Some of the high quality aspirations, which were not fructified while living on earth, they evolve to the stage of fruition. They become facts. They become fruitful in the stage of living at Devchan. So I might have an idea, I might have an aspiration, but I have not realized it full while living on earth. But then if I have that aspiration continuously with me while even I am passing away, that aspiration I will be able to lead and actually see the fruition of it while living in Devchan. It is said by the master, the experience in Devchan will be vivid, clear, based on the kind of life led by the person while living on earth. It is said by master, the experience in Devchan will be vivid, clear, based on the kind of life led by the person while living on earth. Suppose there is a lot of confusion, a lot of not having clear views of how to live a life. And that person perhaps will not have that clear way of living in Devchan. So it all depends on how he lived his life on earth. The thoughts which will be uppermost, this is an interesting statement which is reflecting in even Bhagavad Gita. The thoughts which will be uppermost at the moment of death, the active thoughts of that moment will regulate and control the life in Devchan. The thoughts which will be uppermost at the moment of death, the active thoughts of that moment will regulate and control the life of Devchan, life in Devchan. It is said, even minor dreams, not so clear on earth, also will find place in Devchan. Even the minor dreams will find place in Devchan. I only hope the power doesn't go. All are entitled to aspire and live with lofty dreams and aspirations while living on earth, says the master. Everybody is entitled to live with aspirations which are of a higher order. So all are entitled to aspire and live with lofty dreams and aspirations while living on earth. These aspirations, these dreams will influence the Devchanic life. So this is how He's explaining to Mr. Sinnett. Master says to AP Sinnett, he was trying to describe the indescribable because the dream is not fully be translated to words. Master says he was trying to describe the indescribable. As a result, this inability to put in words the Devchanic life would leave a gap in understanding of what Devchanic life is in AP Sinnett's mind. Master says words cannot communicate the whole of Devchanic life, their sense of Devchanic life. The state of the mind of Devchanic life, the state of the mind of a person while living on earth also cannot be described by words. We may think that I know everything what I am thinking while living on earth, but even these thoughts which I am having while I am living on earth cannot be put into words. So Master says the state of mind of a person on earth and the state of mind of that person in Devchan cannot adequately be described, says the Master. Have used their intuition to understand the action in the higher sphere. The Master says some chelas, disciples, have used their intuition to understand the action in higher sphere. And what Mr. Leadbeater says, it is only through clairvoyance one can see what happens in the channel. There is a manual which we are all familiar with. This one of the manuals which all the members of the Theosophical Society are familiar with. Master says, AP Sinnett, that no one can explain the state of the mind of a person, especially existing in Devchan. So he is again repeating that the mind of the person living in Devchan cannot be easily told in words. A man who understands the mysteries of nature, he's talking about nature now, a man who understands the mysteries of nature during his earthly life, a man who understands the mysteries of nature during his earthly life, is at a higher state of understanding, and nature provides him a reward for his good deeds on earth. So nature gives him an opportunity. The Master says, more merit, more period of time in Devchan is a misconception. This is the conception we have. Sometime back we also read more good deeds, more time. But then he is correcting or he is restating one particular statement where he says, there is no merit. If there is more merit, more period of time in Devchan is a misconception because there is no sense of time or time getting lapsed at Devchan. Because there is no sense of time or time getting lapsed in Devchan. So time is not there, time sense is not there. It is completely lost. Master says there are no clocks or timepieces in Devchan. This is there in the letter. Master says there are no clocks or timepieces in Devchan. Master says we don't normally take cognizance or even are aware of the period of happiness and bliss which we experience while living on earth. We don't normally take cognizance, means we are not aware. Somebody says happiness is like a butterfly which lands on your shoulder when you're least conscious of it. So that's how the happiness goes. He says now, Master says, Devchan is the person who is living in Devchan. His cup is full. He loses all sense of time. And Master says, Devchani's cup is full and he loses all sense of time and is simply enjoying the fruits of his good deeds. Master says, Avici, which we said is equivalent to hell in the Christian literature, also has no sense of time. Avicii also has no sense of time, as we normally calculate the periods of time on Earth between 2 days or 2 months or 2 years and things like that. So we don't have time sense even in Avicii, and in Devchan also. There's no question of time. Master says time is created entirely by ourselves or by us. Time is created entirely by ourselves or by us. So it is not there in Devchan or Avicii. Master says to realize bliss in Devchan and go through the woes, W-O-E-S, the problematic period of Avicii, we need to assimilate them and experience them as we do on Earth. Like we experience eating a mango, assimilate the taste of mango on Earth. Similarly, to realize the bliss of Devchan and go through the woes of Avicii, we need to assimilate them and experience them as we do on Earth. So this is something which we need to take note of. Simply, it doesn't come to us. We need to understand what exactly is happening to us. We cannot comprehend the time which is actually abstract. We cannot comprehend the time which is actually abstract. One cannot also feel the time. The day has gone without my doing anything. Nothing like that can be felt. Finite words, similes, or examples cannot measure the abstract or the infinite. This is a statement which is there even in the secret doctrine. The finite cannot measure the infinite. So, finite words, similes, or examples cannot measure the abstract or the infinite. What is objective? What is objective cannot mirror the subjective. What is objective cannot be mirrored by the subjective. Is verifiable, tangible information or objects. This objective cannot mirror the perspectives based on abstract thought or feelings. This is again a statement we need to ponder over. What is objective cannot mirror the subjective. Objective is verifiable, tangible information or objects. This objective cannot mirror perspectives based on abstract thought or feelings. Unless, Master says now, unless we learn to distinguish between the matter and the form, we cannot reach definite conclusions. Unless we distinguish between the matter and the form, we cannot reach definite conclusions, says the Master. Master says further, space and time may not be the products, but they are regulators of sensations while living on Earth and are not quite concerned with the experiences of Devchan. So even space is taking out of equation. Time may not be the products, but they are regulators of sensations of Earth and are not quite concerned with the experiences of Devchan because time is absent in Devchan. Master says actually it is Devchani, the person, who is absolutely responsible for creating or annihilating the sensations and atmosphere of Devchan. So the person is responsible for creating or annihilating the sensations and atmosphere of Devchan. So entirely depends. So the life of the physical determines everything. In fact, the life of the Kamaloka, the astral world, and perhaps the lower mental world or the higher mental world. So entire thing depends on how we lead our life on Earth. So for creating and annihilating, the person is responsible for creating the sensation and atmosphere of Devchan, says the Master. Having said all that, having said what all he had to say about Devchanic life and etc., Master says to Synod that he would convey the content and meaning in simpler terms if wanted. Then he goes on to say, Earth life and life in Devchan are correspondential. The life on Earth would determine the life of Devchan. Earth life and life in Devchan are correspondential and are correlated. Master says, Mr. Sinnett is influenced by the Western thought. Mr. Sinnett is influenced by the Western thought and so finds it difficult to understand the concept and the life of Devchan. Mr. Sinnett feels, he says to the master, the whole affair seems to be full of pain, says Mr. Sinnett to master. It is full of pain to the mind, says Mr. Sinnett. Master says, it is because Sinnett has not grasped the content. It is because he has not grasped the content perfectly, there is pain. Sinnett has not understood the system, the nature of existence, the method of life, the method of one's leading the life at Devchan. So perfectly, because he has not understood, there is pain. Sinnett has not understood the system, the nature of existence in Devchan. So there is confusion and pain. So this is the reason why there is confusion and pain, says the master, in the mind of Mr. Sinnett. Master says, what he is professing and what he is conveying is actually defect-free. Master says what he is professing or conveying is actually defect-free. The defect is in the mind of the person who is receiving it or trying to understand it. As far as the person who is professing it, the master is saying it is error-free. Sinnett writes to master and says, the soul awakes to reality and finds itself cheated by nature. This is another statement made by Mr. Sinnett to the master. Sinnett writes to master and says, the soul awakes to reality and finds itself cheated by nature. And master replies, nature cheats neither the Devchani or the person living on earth. Nature cheats neither the Devchani or the person living on earth. Nature actually provides more real bliss and happiness than bliss and happiness one experiences on earth. So this is the statement of master in reply to the poser given by Mr. Sinnett. Due to various evil conditions which are present, that are present on earth, unalloyed happiness is not possible on earth. Why it's not possible? Because there are a lot of evil conditions which are there. So unalloyed happiness is not possible. So unalloyed happiness is a fact of nature in Devchan. Master says and tries to explain as there is earth life for the personality, the ego feels and experiences the first flutter of psychic life. Unalloyed happiness is a fact of nature in Devchan, says the master, and he further says, as there is earth life for the personality, the ego, Atma Buddhi Manas, feels and experiences the first flutter of psychic life in Devchan, are both governed by the law of karma. This is an emphatic statement. The life of Devchan and the life of earth are both governed by the law of karma. The weary rounds of birth and death again and again will have to go through till the being reaches the 7th round, says the master. During the process of the journey, one attains the stage of Arahat and then becomes Buddha and learns to burst through the vicious circles of birth and death. So this is how the progress is made by an individual. So the very rounds of birth and death are there for everyone. And the being reaches till he reaches the 7th round, they are there. But some people have done sadhana, some people have done something extra. They have walked the extra mile, they perhaps they are there with ease at a different phase of their life. They have become arhats, they have become buddhas, and they have learned to burst through the vicious circles of birth and death. First, he says further, first, one passes to the stage of nirvana and then to paranirvana. First, one passes to the stage of nirvana and then to paranirvana. Nirvana is a state of absolute enlightenment while the man is still living. The enlightened, what they attain after death is paranirvana. The actual state of the ending of the cycles of birth and death is paranirvana. Actually, this is the ultimate liberation from worldly existence. These are all the, as per the esoteric Buddhic principles. Master answers to the question, what will happen in Devchan of a person who has not made a mark while living on earth? Some people must have just passed through their life without doing anything concrete. So Master answers this question, what will happen in Devchan of a person who has not made a mark while living on earth? Such a person's life in Devchan will be feeble and colorless. Everything depends on the cause and effect, says the Master. Everything depends on the cause and effect, says the Master. So in that person's case, it will be feeble and colorless. In case of a wicked, sensual, ambitious, greedy, prideful, deceitful person, this is the second question he's asking. In case of a wicked, sensual, ambitious, greedy, prideful, deceitful person, what will happen to him in the question raised by Sinnett? Sinnett adds, this person has germs or flashes of divine nature in him, but not very prominent. This is what he has said. Master says in reply, in such a person, the divine monad separates itself and the person lives with only 5 principles while living on earth. In such cases, these persons live as spiritual, soulless human beings. This is the statement. In such cases where he is with so much of negative traits, they live a life which is spiritual, soulless human beings. However, the sparks of divine, the nature will have its positive effects, even though these sparks are covered by heaps of dirt and other negative qualities. So this is how Master is saying a person with so much of negativity and still has a bit of positivity in him, and those things will be recognized. Those positive signs will be recognized. There is an interesting story which I have read when I was young, when I was in the school. There was a person who had done one good deed, and he was given a choice whether he would like to experience, this is just a story, whether he would like to experience the hell first or the heaven first, because he has done something good, so he can experience whatever he wants first. Then that person says, what is that I have done to earn the time in heaven? He says, when you trampled upon a flower which you are trying to pick up, you said Krishna, Krishna. So then he told the Lord that I will go to the heaven first. And then when he went there, the Lord sent somebody to pick him up. He's not coming back because he's plucking the flowers and saying Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So he's not coming back at all. This is just a story, mind you. So this is how the traits of positive influence also would perhaps determine our stay in Devchan. So the negative qualities definitely will hamper our stay. The positive qualities will enhance our stay. And of course, there is no measure of time there, but one gets to know what is unalloyed happiness by living on the Devchan. The sparks will result in minimal attraction, and this person will not be annihilated but punished, says the Master. The sparks will result in minimal attraction, and this person will not be annihilated but punished for the conscious way he lived on earth. With all the negative traits he lived, he gets punished for that. he will get assigned to Avicii, which is, as we said sometime back, the hell, which is the opposite of Devchan, referred by the Western religions as hell. He gets purified there, he becomes purified there, and then he comes to the place where he has to lead a life which is full of unalloyed happiness. I think I have spent 40 minutes as per my watch. So I would end here and then give it to Brother Mahapatra to do whatever he thinks is right.
नमस्ते। आज मैं इस लेटर का कुछ अंश इसका मैंने ट्रांसलेशन किया है, उसको मैं पेश करती हूँ। क्रोनोलॉजिकल लेटर नंबर 104 यानी लेटर नंबर 25 यह पत्र मास्टर के एच एपी सीनेट को February 2, 1883 में लिखते हैं। मास्टर कहते हैं कि ऐसा क्यों माना जाना चाहिए कि देवाचन एक नीरस स्थिति है। वे कहते हैं कि यह सभी सादृश्यों के विपरीत होगा और प्रभाव के नियम के प्रतिकूल होगा, जिसके तहत परिणाम पूर्ववर्ती ऊर्जाओं के समानुपातिक होते हैं। स्थूल ऊर्जाएं जो पदार्थ की भारी या सघन स्थितियों में काम करती है, भौतिक जीवन में वस्तुनिष्ठ रूप से प्रकट होती है। उनका नतीजा प्रत्येक जन्म का नया देहात्मा होता है, जो विकासशील जीवात्मा के महान चक्र में अंतर्भूत होता है। नैतिक और आध्यात्मिक कार्यकलाप देवाचन में अपने प्रभाव के क्षेत्र पाती है। अपने अगले जन्म में असाधारण मानव जाति का सबसे महान, सबसे बुद्धिमान, सबसे मतलबी एक कवि, जो अपने अगले जीवन में जन्म में असाधारण बौद्धिक क्षमताओं के साथ एक लालची धन कमाने वाला के रूप में प्रकट हो सकता है। नैतिक और आध्यात्मिक गुणों को भी एक ऐसा क्षेत्र खोजना होगा जिसमें उनकी ऊर्जाएं स्वयं को विस्तारित कर सके। देवाचन ऐसा ही क्षेत्र है। इसलिए प्रकृति के अमूर्त सिद्धांतों में बौद्धिक और आध्यात्मिक अनुसंधान और नैतिक सुधारणा की सभी महान योजनाएं, सभी दिव्य आकांक्षाएं देवाचन में फलित होगी और अमूर्त सत्ता अपने आप को स्वयं ही निर्मित इस आंतरिक संसार में व्याप्त होगी। यह कोई सचेत अस्तित्व नहीं कहलाएगा, एक ऐसे वास्तववादी जीवंतता के सपने में जिएंगी कि जीवन की कोई भी वास्तविकता उससे मेल नहीं खा सकती। और यह स्वप्न तब तक रह सकता है जब तक कि उस दिशा में कर्म पूरा नहीं हो जाता। यह बिल्कुल सच है कि वह क्षण पहले से लेकर आखिरी तक बना रहता है, लेकिन फिर वह पूरे स्वर संगति के मुख्य स्वर के रूप में उल्लेखनीय स्वरमान के एक निश्चित स्वर के रूप में रहता है, जिसके तहत एक विषय वस्तु पर संगीत की असंख्य धुनों के रूप में एकत्रित और विकसित होती है। सभी आकांक्षाएं, इच्छाएं, आशाएं, सपने जो उस विशेष क्षण के संबंध में सपने देखने वाले के मस्तिष्क में उसके जीवन काल में आए थे, पृथ्वी पर बिना उनका एहसास हुए और जिन्हें वह अब देवाचन में अपने पूर्ण सजीव रूप में पूर्णतः साकारित पाता है, बिना यह संदेह किए कि वह सभी आनंदमयी वास्तविकता उसकी कल्पना से उत्पन्न हुई है, उसके द्वारा उत्पन्न मानसिक कारणों के प्रभाव के अलावा कुछ नहीं। वह विशेष क्षण जो मृत्यु के समय उसके मरते हुए मस्तिष्क के विचारों में सबसे प्रबल और सबसे आखिरी वाला विचार होगा, वह निश्चित ही अन्य सभी क्षणों को विनिमयित करेगा। पृथ्वी पर ऐसा कोई भी मनुष्य जिसमें चाहे कोई प्रबल जुनून न हो, लेकिन कुछ निश्चित अभिरुचि हो, कोई भी व्यक्ति, चाहे वह कितना भी दीन और गरीब क्यों न हो, और इन सब के कारण वह सपनों और इच्छाओं में लिप्त रहता है, भले ही वे अतृप्त क्यों न हो। आगे मास्टर कहते हैं कि अवर्णनीय का वर्णन करना यह कठिन कार्य है। जब तक एक प्रशिक्षित चेला की अंतःप्रज्ञा कार्यान्वित नहीं होती, तब तक कोई भी वर्णन, चाहे कितना भी स्पष्ट चित्रित क्यों न हो, उससे लाभ नहीं होगा। पृथ्वी पर मन की स्थिति और इसके कार्य क्षेत्र से बाहर की स्थिति के बीच अंतर को व्यक्त करने के लिए कोई पर्याप्त शब्द नहीं है। प्रकृति के रहस्यों के बारे में कुछ जानने की राह पर एक व्यक्ति पृथ्वी पर की एक उच्चतर अवस्था में प्रतीत होता है, जो प्रकृति उसे उसके सर्वोत्तम कर्मों के लिए पुरस्कार के रूप में प्रदान करती है। शायद वास्तविकता में ऐसा नहीं है। जब प्रकृति की कार्यप्रणाली को सही ढंग से समझ लिया जाता है, तब जितना अधिक पुण्य, उतनी ही देवाचन में लंबी अवधि। लेकिन तब देवाचन में समय बीतने का सारा बोध नहीं रहता। 1 मिनट 1000 साल के बराबर होता है। देवाचन में कोई घड़िया या समय मापी नहीं है। देवाचन में जाने वाला समय बीतने का सारा बोध खो देता है, और यह कुछ ऐसा है जो अविची में जाने वाले नहीं करते हैं। हालांकि एक देवाचनी की तरह एक अविची को समय का बोध नहीं होता, यानी समय की अवधियों की हमारी इहलोकीय गणना का बोध नहीं होता है। समय पूर्णतः हमारे द्वारा निर्मित चीज है, जबकि धरती पर भी तीव्र पीड़ा का एक छोटा सा सेकंड अनंत काल की तरह लगता है। दूसरे को जो अधिक भाग्यशाली है, उसे घंटे, दिन और कभी कभी अनेक वर्ष एक अल्प से क्षण की तरह लग सकता है। और धरती पर सभी संवेदनशील और सचेत जीवों में मनुष्य ही एकमात्र प्राणी है जो समय का विचार करता है। हालांकि यह उसे न तो अधिक खुश करता है और न ही अधिक बुद्धिमान बनाता है। देवाचन में आनंद या अविची में दुखों को महसूस करने के लिए आपको उन्हें आत्मसात करना होगा, जैसा कि हम करते हैं, ऐसा मास्टर सिनेट से कहते हैं। समय एक निर्धारक अवधारणा नहीं है, न तो इसे साबित किया जा सकता है और न ही इसका विश्लेषण किया जा सकता है। वहां हमें यानी देवाचन में उन स्थान और समय के पूर्व निर्धारित विचार नहीं मिलते हैं जो देवाचन के निवासी की अपनी इंद्रिय गम्य वस्तुओं के संबंध में धारणाओं को नियंत्रित करते हैं। लेकिन इसके विपरीत हम पाते हैं कि यह देवाचनी ही है जो दोनों को पूर्ण रूप से एक ही समय में निर्मित करता है और नष्ट करता है। इस प्रकार तथाकथित मरणोपरांत अवस्थाओं को तर्क से कभी भी सही ढंग से नहीं आंका जा सकता है, क्योंकि बाद वाला केवल अंतिम कारणों या उद्देश्यों के क्षेत्र में ही सक्रिय होता है। प्रकृति जीवित भौतिक मनुष्य से अधिक एक देवाचनी को धोखा नहीं देती। प्रकृति उसे यहाँ की अपेक्षा कहीं अधिक सच्चा आनंद और खुशी प्रदान करती। थैंक यू। नमस्ते।
Mr. Pradeepji's laptop has the internet is not working. So if anybody else wants to add anything or ask any questions, you can do that now. Otherwise, we'll go to closing.
Yes, one question, madam.
Yes, please.
May I ask?
Yes, please.
अंतिम समय का जो वो देवाचन में कैसे इफेक्ट करता है, ये थोड़ा समझना था। अंतिम समय का जो विचार है हमारा, वो देवाचन में कैसे इफेक्ट करेगा, वो समझ में नहीं।
Question. Okay, anybody else has to say anything? I think. Sir, go ahead. Close the session. 1 second, sir. And Krishna ji, please answer the. I don't know. The question has not come yet. Did you hear the question, sir? Madhav ji, please repeat the question.
मृत्यु के समय जो अंतिम समय आता है, उस समय इंसान जो विचार करता है, उस विचार का देवाचन में क्या इफेक्ट होता है? दैट इज माय क्वेश्चन।
Krishna ji.
Yes, I think Master has answered that question adequately. I think the thoughts of the person who is passing away or who is about to die, the whatever aspirations is carrying on, I think that will result what sort of life he would lead in Devchan. He has said it very clearly to Senate. The person who is passing away would, what sort of thoughts he has had in his mind at that point of time, that will determine what sort of life he would have at the time of Devchanic life.
माधव जी, आपको कुछ और कहना है?
नहीं मैडम, क्या बोलूं, कुछ नहीं कहना मैडम, पर होल
थोड़ा
लाइफ,
सा लाउडर बोलिए।
whole life he is doing nasty work, and at the end he is very good person. That is the question.
I think, sir, what I think Krishna ji is saying is that it has some effect, but it has not got a permanent effect. He will spend a little time in Devachan, but he'll be drawn. He'll not. He'll sleep through it. He will not experience anything. Am I right, sir, Krishna ji?
Yeah. He will. The person who has led a life which full of vices and all sort of physical attractions and all that, he will not have an active life there. He will be leading a colorless and what sort of life? It will be just existing there. He will not have anything to experience there. So how we live here, that determines the life there at Devchan. So if somebody has led a life, as an example was given, a lot of cruelty or wickedness, and etc., etc., I don't think he would lead a very happy life there, because he would immediately be consigned to Avicii. He will be consigned to Avicii. That's what the master says. So unless he gets purified there, he will not be eligible to come and have his time at Devchan.
But at the last, he is doing very good work before passing away. This was the question.
There is also a mention, Senate talked about, the entire life is all non-describable, but he has few sparks, which are not very mentionable, but there are few sparks. So, few sparks. So that spark will have its benefit. that sparks will have its benefit. But then if it is overweighed by the negative traits which one has led, I think the positives get submerged under the burden of the other ones, the traits which were not perhaps recommended for one's easy life at Devchan or happy life in Devchan. So he will have tough time. In fact, he will have tough time even in astral world, leave alone going to the Devchan. Even astral world, he'll suffer a lot because he has had all sorts of desires, things like that. So he'll suffer in astral and then move on. So such a person who has not led a proper life on earth, perhaps the law of karma will work. And so if he has got good work done, he has benefit there. If there is no good work done, perhaps benefit is not there in Devchan.
Okay, sir. Now it is beautiful clear. Thank you very much.
Anybody else has to say anything? Yes, Jitendra ji, I think you want to speak.
Yes, in the Devachan, it's a blissful life. Whatever suffering he had gone through, he might have gone through after passing away from the physical body, he would have suffered in the astral body and mental body. And then in Devachan, he'll be blissful. Now, whatever bad things and vices, whatever he did in last life, in the new life that will be born, that's where the karma will play the part.
Is it a statement or a question?
No, this is my statement.
Okay.
I'm saying,
He has said it, Master has said it, the bad karma of the individual is kept aside. The good effects will be taken up into Devchan. The bad effects or bad karma which he has done, it will tag on to him when he is taking a new birth. So the tendencies will repeat. What all he has gone through in the previous life will get attached to him as he is coming down, and then that's how he is born with all those tendencies again. That's what.
yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant anyway.
He said that in the letter. He said that in the letter.
Yeah.
Okay, sir, shall we end the meeting?
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about this, sir.
Krishna ji?
I'm Gautam from Kanpur. Can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
hear
sir,
me?
you can.
I'm Gautam from Kanpur.
Yes, Gautam ji.
Yeah, I wanted to say that of course, it is my own opinion that the person, whatever he has become towards the end of his life, in his attitudes, that is the attitude which will prevail in the next birth. And this has not to do with the events that he is going to have in the life, either in Devachan or in the astral plane or the next life. The events will be controlled by his acts, and his style of life will be dictated by what has been his what you call pravritti attitudes at the end of his life.
Like Madhaviji said, at the end of life, somebody has been chanting, say, Hare Rama, for, say, 60 minutes, and then he passed away. And before that, all his life was maybe not so good. So he'll have to pay for all those good, no? So he has to pay for all that good. And for all that chanting which he has done also, he will have the benefit. So that is how the law of karma will have its work done, and it will not fail either on one's life during earth or in life at Devchan. The law of retribution or law of karma will work without any error, both on earth and also in heaven or in Devchan. So whatever we do, we get. As we sow, so we reap, as we famous statement goes.
Shyam ji, would you like to explain what you mean by attitude?
Attitude means, see, in the beginning of his life, he was more aggressive and maybe getting more anger and all that. But say, coming into theosophy has changed him a lot, and at the end he improves a lot, and his attitudes become refined. So these refined attitudes will carry on in the next birth also. But this does not mean that his events of the life will be nullified by his attitudes.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir, shall we end the meeting?
Yeah.
Astoma Satgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, brothers and sisters.